Hey everyone, it's Natalie Pepito with Heaven's Little Angels, and I am here to give you 4 symptoms that your child is too sick to go to daycare. And I've been writing all these blogs, and I just started this channel, so like and subscribe to Heaven's Little Angels, or HLA, I'm not sure exactly what it's called, on YouTube if you like this channel. I provide content for daycare providers and for new parents that bring their children to daycare, and for parents that need overall parenting advice. Coming from a daycare provider with 20 years experience. I'm not a doctor, not a nurse, not a psychologist, not a psychiatrist. I'm just me, and I've been working in my daycares for 20 years. Working, not just administrating, but working with children. All right, so here are 4 symptoms that your child is too sick to go to daycare. And before I start with the 4 symptoms, I just want to make it clear that I understand working parents. I get it. I try not to call to pick up your child unless I know for a fact that they're truly sick. If they have a runny nose and they don't have a fever, I know it's a cold. And I cannot call a parent every single time a child has a cold, because then they'll get fired. So I understand. So this is coming from a point of view where I use common sense when it comes to calling parents if their child is sick. All right, so now on with the 4 symptoms. Symptom number 1, fever. All right, so fever, I consider a fever anything over 100. And I think the health department says 100.3 is considered a fever. So if a little toddler or a baby comes in with a 99.6, let's say, I will keep a close eye on them and watch for other symptoms before I decide to make the call to come pick them up. So that's my point of view. So 100.3 or above, do not come to daycare, all right? And we know when a child has been doped up with Tylenol or Motrin, you can tell, especially if they're really sick. Done this for 20 years, and I see a kid walk in through the door looking like this, but they don't have a fever. Come on, people. I know when your child has been doped up with Tylenol and you're trying to bring them to daycare anyway. I get it, gotta work, but sometimes that's not cool for a daycare provider, because then you're gonna get all the other kids sick, and then you give me the chance of getting sick myself. And I don't wanna be sick, and I can't afford to be sick, because if I'm sick, then you don't have daycare. So see where I'm headed with this logic? Okay, sign number 2, dry coughing or a barking type of cough. You know, if you have children, you know what I'm talking about. You know that a dry cough, it sounds like bah, 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 and there's no like moisture or any kind of looseness in their chest. They are sick. They most likely have the croup or whooping cough or RSV or something terrible. So if your child comes in and they've got a hideous cough, I'm going to call you and send them home. And usually that is accompanied by a fever after the symptoms start. So usually they'll be fine in the morning, and then they start that cough, and then by the time they wake up from nap, downhill. So I've learned in my 20 years, like, how to spot a bad cough versus just a regular cough. Because I've got kids, or I've had kids, that are allergic to everything. And when they have clear runny nose and they're constantly coughing and sneezing, they truly have allergies. So you can definitely tell the difference, because the behavior in the child, if they've got that barking cough, they're usually lethargic and they're just not feeling good. You can tell. All right, so that is symptom number 2. Number 3 is diarrhea. Ew, disgusting. All right, diarrhea. Newborn babies and babies that are under 1 year old, if they are being breastfed, will have blowouts. That is not what I'm talking about. That is a completely different situation than diarrhea. Diarrhea is a sick stomach bug, foul smelling most disgusting thing coming out of a diaper. Or I'm just gonna say it, I'm gonna be blunt. If your toddler, 2 and above, 2 years old, has explosive diarrhea, don't bring them, because I can get the stomach bug. Stomach bugs spread like wildfire in daycare because you can't control it. You are sick before you actually start with the crapping of your pants. So you're already spreading it. So if your child has diarrhea and they're 2 years old, or even like 1.5 to 2 years old, you can tell the difference between a little baby that's being breastfed and has those kind of loose poops, or they're teething and they have this acid poop stuff. That'll be another blog post and another YouTube video at some point in time. Spotting different kinds of poop. Gross. Anyway, 2-year-olds, 3-year-olds, not potty trained, explosive diarrhea, don't bring them. I will be mad. I will be mad if you bring your children to me like that. All right, symptom number 4 is throwing up prior to coming to daycare. If your child threw up in the middle of the night or threw up in the car, don't bring them to daycare. They have the stomach bug. Don't tell me they're car sick. Don't tell me they ate something weird and it was just a freaky deaky thing. If your kid is throwing up and they're addicted to milk, especially, do not bring them to daycare. Imagine this scenario, because this has happened to me, okay? This has happened to me more than once. Everyone's eating lunch. We all sit at the table like one big, happy little toddler family. This kid isn't right. He hasn't been right. Don't know what's wrong with him, really. No fever, right? No fever, but just not feeling good, you can tell. But if they don't have a fever and they're not coughing and all the other symptoms, I really can't call the parents and just say, hey, come get your kid, especially if it turns out to be nothing. So it's like one of those fine lines that we have to do, that we have to evaluate. So luckily I've been doing this long enough to where I'm pretty good at evaluating that fine line. All right, so everyone's eating lunch. All of a sudden, the little kid that's lethargic starts throwing up, projectile vomiting all over the table, all over the floor, just everywhere. And you don't have time to get a trash can. You don't have time to put them near a bucket. It just happens, and it's everywhere. Now, let's pretend that we're using my daycare right now at this point in time. I have 8 kids. This hasn't happened, so Heaven's Little Angels parents, don't get pissed because it hasn't happened. This is for everyone. So now I've got 8 kids. The one kid's crying because he's scared or she's scared that they threw up everywhere. They're upset. They don't feel good. They don't know what happened. I'm trying to keep my cool because I don't want this little guy being upset and scared. So I'm grossed out, number 1. Number 2, I've got 7 other kids that are maybe got thrown up on. I don't know. Like, let's pretend that 1 or 2 got some throw up on them. I've got to clean them up now. I've got to clean everything up. I've got to separate the child. I've got to clean the child. Do you understand how difficult it is for a daycare provider to have to clean up barf, especially when a parent knew that their kid was sick? That is what will throw a daycare provider over the edge of insanity, is if you bring a sick kid like that to daycare and they throw up everywhere. That is the biggest no-no. Diarrhea is like, okay, they come in with diarrhea and I'm like, okay, maybe they didn't know kind of thing, but it's contained in a diaper, right? Not a big, well, it's kind of a big deal, but it's not as big of a deal as barfing. And especially if a child drinks milk, it is curdled milk and it's the most disgusting, disgusting thing on the planet. Like, I will literally gag. So, warning, don't bring your kid if they threw up. I don't care. Don't bring them for a day. And that will end this video. If you like my channel, like and subscribe. This channel isn't just for my daycare parents. This is for every daycare provider and every new parent that's watching. All right, happy Friday.